Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Three Stooges, more specifically about the 80th Stooge short released by Columbia Pictures on July 15th, 1944. Now, I've been cataloging every single Stooge short from number 1 all the way to 190. So if you've missed those, be sure to check them out. There's a link in the description for you so that you can watch and enjoy them yourself. This Stooge short is called Idle Rumors. Of course, it's a play on the title Idle Rumors, like if you're passing rumors around, but this is rumors as in a bedroom and a living room. Now, this was filmed between November 17th and the 20th of 1943. And remember, it was released the next year in 1944. So still, we're in the middle of World War II, getting to the end of it. But this one doesn't have a lot to do with some of the other topics we were talking about, Japanese or Germans or anything like that. In fact, the plot is very different and unique. It's a fun one. Let me know down below if you've seen this one or not in syndication and reruns, because I never saw it in reruns. The only time I was able to see it was when I got the DVD sets with the uncensored versions, because these Stooges are bellboys here, and they're in a huge hotel working there, and they happen to get a hotel guest who shows up with this wild wolf man, kind of this monster. Now, this monster escapes, and he has an Achilles heel. His Achilles heel is whenever he hears music, he goes nuts and crazy and starts attacking everyone, ripping the walls down. It's pretty funny. So the Stooges, what do? They get involved in the shenanigans. They try to capture this wolf man by playing music to calm him down, but instead the music makes him go berserk, and the Stooges are the ones trying to run away from this wolf man. And the ending is quite unique because the boys end up going inside the elevator, which they work around all the time, but the Wolfman is inside and he goes berserk and shoots him into the sky, and it could be inferred that the Stooges possibly die in this short, which is pretty unique. It does happen every once in a while. Usually they don't, but that is something they try to shy away from, but it could be something that is a likely possibility here. You may recognize a familiar female face in this short. Her name is Christine McIntyre. Now, she was very popular and seen a lot with the Shemp shorts, which we'll get to in the distant future. But keep in mind, this is essentially her debut. This is pretty much her full-fledged coming with the Stooges and acting with them. But remember, a little bit of trivia here, she did have a small part, not really a cameo, but a very tiny appearance in a previous one from 1943 called They Stooge to Conga, which I did cover, so make sure to check that one out. And if you notice in this one, Curly Howard is a lot different. Now, I've been cataloging his downfall in terms of his health, and how his health began to decline throughout the years, but this is one where it's very apparent regarding his voice. Now, if you don't know, Curly Howard, or Jerome Howard, he made a falsetto voice. He raised the pitch of his voice. That was kind of his character. But if you notice in this one, although he does do a falsetto, the register is a lot lower. It's a lot of a lower pitch than he usually does. This is because it would strain his voice. It's a lot more difficult to do. It's very similar to Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball, because of her smoking, unfortunately, her voice started to change. It also had to do with a lot of her voice exercises that she did and the falsetto that she did. It did hurt her voice, and then her voice got deeper from the mixture of the smoking and the falsetto. Or here Curly is struggling to hold his falsetto. Now, because they were filming this in 1943, 3 years before that, in 1940, he divorced from his wife, Elaine Ackerman. And because of that, it was said, reports, that he went a bit wild. He lived the wild life. What did he do? He went out at night, he would be drinking, he would be dancing, and just eating up feasts, spending a lot of his salary and money on doing that, all this carousing, and it did really hurt his health. It made him decline in performance, especially in the shorts, and you can really notice his decline, especially in this one. That doesn't mean that he didn't perform well, but it was a struggle for him to make this short. It got harder and harder because of the physicality and the multiple takes and what it really took to make a Stooge short like this. Now, this isn't just me. I'm not making this up. This comes from people who were actually there, like cinematographer Henry Froelich, who said in an interview in 1984 that it wasn't an unusual occurrence to see Curly stumbling into work looking like he had a pretty rough night, or a really action-packed night. And yes, it did affect his performance, which is what we're focusing on here. And this is truly the first short where we see Curly's acting ability slow down a bit. Remember, Curly was very fast-paced, both the way he spoke, his tone, he was higher pitched. That takes a lot of work, and it really strains your voice and your body, especially doing this like 4 days trying to finish this short. And yes, he struggled a lot in this one. So make sure to check out the short. As I mentioned, his performance is great. I mean, he held himself to a high standard. But I mean, if you look at the first ever short or the second, you can see that there's a huge difference between his abilities here. And so his deeper voice confirms that yes, he was struggling. So I want to know your thoughts down below. Did you ever notice this? Did it become apparent? Like I said, my hat is off to him because he was dealing with a lot behind the scenes. He was dealing a lot with his personal life, but he had to come into work to essentially eat and make a living. And I feel that he wasn't just doing it to fulfill a contract. He really was doing his best for his brothers to put in that performance. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys love to perform, they love to entertain, and they really enjoyed what they did. So I think that is something that I want to focus on in this video and definitely highlight. We'll see you all next time, and don't forget, everyone, to stay positive and, most importantly, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, especially my Diamond tier patrons. David D, Jerry D, Citizen Kane 359, Kevin K, Russ C, Sally N, and Vito L. If you want to be on this patron list, make sure to check out the links in the description below. Thanks so much.